если меня видно и
hear
слышно.
me, if you hear the streaming and if you can see me well and if you can hear me
Что-то
well.
отбойный, по-моему, звук. Смотрите звук, пожалуйста. Все ли нормально? Эхо, да, есть?
We're having some... Is everything okay with the
Все,
sound
вроде
or some
должны эхо
echo?
убрать. Напишите от 1 до 10, как меня слышно прямо сейчас. Всё ли
Please
хорошо,
write,
всё ли
please type in
в
from 1 to
хорошем
10.
качестве.
How do you hear me now? Is
Теперь всё
everything
нормально.
okay?
Да,
Is the
отлично.
quality good? So now everything is okay.
Так,
That's fine.
сейчас перезагружу у себя трансляцию. Вроде все видно, все слышно.
So let me
Всё у нас
reload
хорошо.
the streaming.
Всех приветствую,
I believe that
приветствую
everything
вас
is
на
fine
нашем
now.
сегодняшнем
So
вебинаре,
hello to
который
everybody,
посвящен
hello to
проекту
our
Дмитрия
today's
Дuyunova. Сегодня мы
webinar.
будем
Welcome you
говорить
to
обо всем
the
самом
webinar
интересном, что
that is
произошло в жизни
dedicated to
проекта,
Duyunov
о
Motors.
всех
Today we're
самых
going to
важных
talk about
новостях,
everything
событиях, а также
interesting, all
отвечать на ваши
interesting
вопросы. Так
moments
что,
and
если есть
news
вопросы, вы прямо
and
сейчас
events
можете
that
направлять
happened
их в
recently, and
чат
I'm going to
нашего
answer your
вебинарного
questions.
канала
If you
вебинара
have
Дмитрия
any,
Дuyunова.
please type
Там я
them
буду
in
смотреть на
to the
все
top
ваши вопросы,
chat.
отвечать на них. В общем-то,
This
будем
is
на
where
том
I will
трансляции. Зовут меня Павел,
see
я
all
один из
your
участников команды,
questions and
который
we'll have a
занимается развитием
communication. My name
проекта,
is Pavel.
привлечением
I'm one of the
инвестиций.
participants of the
Я
team who
сегодня
is dealing
расскажу
with
для
the
вас ряд
development of the
новостей
program
из тех,
of
что прошли на
investment attraction. I will
новостей
share
недели,
some
скажем
news
так, да.
with you,
И после меня
the news
выступит
that happened
Дмитрий
last
Александрович
week.
Дуйнов.
And
Это
after
человек, который не
me,
нуждается в
Mr.
представлении.
Dmitry
В общем,
Alexandrovich
также
Duyunov
выступит,
will take the floor.
поделится последними
He doesn't
новостями о
need to
том,
be
как развивается
introduced. He'll
проект, и
also
ответит на
share
ваши
the
вопросы. Так
latest
что вопросы вы
news
можете
about
направлять
the development of the
персонально
project
Дмитрию
and answer your
Александровичу
questions. That's why you
Дуйнову.
can
Он
also
обязательно на
send
них ответит.
personally your questions to Mr.
Какие у нас новости, друзья?
Dmitry
Конечно
Alexandrovich
же,
Duyunov. He will
сейчас
answer
нельзя
them. So the news.
пропустить тот ажиотаж, который идет
Currently, now
акции
you
по
cannot.
увеличению инвестиционных пакетов. Помните, что
You
сегодня на
all
11
heard
этапе
about
любой из
the
вас может
increasing
увеличить
of the
имеющийся
investment
инвестиционный
packages. You know
пакет,
that
причем
now on
даже
the
если вы его
11th
закрыли,
phase,
даже
you
если
can
вы уже
increase your
полностью его
investment
выплатили,
package,
вы
even if
можете
you
на
close
своих
it, even if you
уникальных выгодных
completely
условиях
paid it.
нарастить свою инвестицию. И, в общем-то, это
You
будет для вас,
can
вероятнее всего,
improve and
последняя
enhance your
подобная
investment on
возможность, потому
special
что после
conditions and probably
11
will be
этапа
the
по его
last chance for
завершению,
you because
вероятнее
after
всего,
the
функция увеличения
11th
пакета как
phase,
таковая,
after
в
it's
принципе, будет у вас
finalized,
уже
probably the
отменена.
function of
Даже
enhancement
для
and
тех
increase of the
пакетов,
package will
которые
be
вы
cancelled.
платите в рассрочку.
Even for
Я
those
думаю, что
packages where
такую
that you
возможность,
pay by
конечно, искать не стоит.
installment.
Так что помните, что этап у нас
And I
будет
believe that you
завершен до
shouldn't miss
Нового
this
года, то есть
opportunity,
времени
so
осталось
please
не так
remember
много,
that
как
the
кто-то из
phase
вас
will
может подумать, да,
finalize
как обычно с этапом будет.
closer to
В этот
the
раз
end
мы
of the
будем
year,
надеяться.
so you don't have
А,
a lot of time to think and
Скажем
to
так,
make your
такими
decision.
драйверами проекта сегодня, и благодаря тому, что мы вот так
So
щелкаем
the
этапы,
drivers of
конечно
the
же,
project
является
now,
развитие
thanks
зарубежного
to the
направления.
fact that
Зарубежного
we
я
are
говорю
moving by
иные
phases,
страны,
is the
которые
development
говорят не
of
на
the
русском языке.
overseas
И
direction.
сегодня,
So
кстати
we're
говоря, у
speaking
нас
about
такой
countries which are
первый
non-Russian
пробный
speaking
вебинар,
countries. And
который переводится
currently,
на английский
today
язык.
we have
То
a
есть
test
сейчас идет
webinar that is
трансляция,
being
скажем так,
translated
ретрансляция
to
нашего
English. So
вебинара,
now we
где
have
наш синхронный переводчик
streaming
переводит для нашей англоязычной аудитории
with
наш вебинар,
simultaneous
чтобы эти люди также
interpreting
могли быть в
for
курсе всех
our
самых важных
English-speaking
интересных новостей.
viewers,
Посмотрим,
so
как все
that all
пройдет.
these
Если вы
viewers
сейчас смотрите наш
can have the
вебинар на английском
opportunity to
языке,
hear all
ставьте
the
лайк,
latest and recent
пишите,
news. So
как
if you're
нравится
watching
вам, что,
now
может быть, стоит
our
исправить,
webinar
и
in
обязательно
English, please
совершенствоваться.
put,
И в будущем такую
please
практику
type
также
a
использовать.
like or type a
Конечно же,
plus,
развитие
and
зарубежного направления идет благодаря
so
тем
that
региональным
we can have some
представительствам,
feedback
которые
from
сегодня
you. So the
открываем.
development
И
in
до
the
Нового года
overseas
у нас будет
direction
открыто
is
еще 3
happening thanks to
региональных
our regional
представительства. Это, конечно же, Индия
representative
16
offices.
ноября,
We'll have
и
3 more
затем у нас идет
representative
Венгрия
offices
и
overseas.
То
In
есть это все
India
будет
in
завершено до
November,
Нового
in
года.
Hungary, and
Вьетнам
in
и Индия, это, в
Vietnam.
принципе, такие
So
сейчас
all
самые
these
два,
things will
самых
be
быстро
finalized by
растущих
the end of
рынка
the
на
year.
данный
Vietnам
момент
and
по привлечению
India are
инвестиций.
the
И не
fastest
мудрено,
growing
с
markets
совмещенной обмотки Славянки
nowadays in
действительно
terms of
решает большое количество
attraction of
проблем, которые есть в этих
investment.
странах. Кстати говоря, что интересно,
And
наши лидеры, все
the
люди
combined
говорят,
widening
почему
really
проект
helps to solve a
совмещенной
lot of
обмотки
problems in
Славянка,
these countries.
почему
And the
проект
leaders from these
Дмитрия
countries
Дuyunova и технология, почему
are
им так
saying that
интересно.
the projects for induction
Потому
motors
что
of
у них очень
Duyunov
высокая
are so
загазованность
interesting for
большой
them
смог,
because
да,
they
и
have a
сейчас
very
мы
high
поедем, как
smog
раз таки такая
level and
ситуация там
gasification of
в
the
Индии
air. And
происходит, то
now
есть у них
we're
очень большой
going
смог,
there, we're
и
supposed to
даже
go there.
Индия
And
отмечена как
there is
топ-стран,
a
куда
lot
не
of
стоит
smog
ездить,
there
просто не
in
отдыхать.
India. And India is
Поэтому
one of the top
наглядно можно им
countries
показать,
which
что
is not
может
very
поменяться
friendly
в
and favorable
стране
for
благодаря
tourism
совмещенной обмотке
this
Славянки.
autumn.
Это прям
So
надо
thanks to
посмотреть, возможно,
combined
прям
widening this problem can be maybe solved. And
Конечно же, мы не забываем и про наших
probably we'll actually
российских партнеров. Сейчас достаточно
see
много
how this
мероприятий
problem
проводится
is
для них. И
taking
я
place
хотел
in November when
пригласить
we'll go
на
there.
одно из
So we have a
таких
lot of
мероприятий. Я
events
думаю,
for
что
our
те
Russian
партнеры, которые
partners. I
были
want to
на
invite you to
заключающем
one of them.
отделе,
I think the departments who already visited our webinars and trainings understand what I'm talking about. Today, we have webinars for our partners where we conduct training, and I invite you to these webinars. They are taking place on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Moscow time. So let's see the video now. So the video is without sound.
Приглашаю вас обязательно на эти вебинары 19 часов по
So I'm inviting you to these webinars, 7 p.m. Moscow time, on different topics. I already mentioned that even if there is some topic that will be not interesting for you or some speaker that is not interesting for you, you can always switch to a new speaker, a new webinar. And this means that our webinars are very universal. So there is a very big scope of things that you can learn. So if you want to promote your project more efficiently, or you want to enhance your personal skills, you can follow our webinars on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Moscow time. I mentioned about regional representative offices. Some of you may think that we participate only in different exhibitions and events that deal with investments. It's not true. We also hold a lot of events and activities that are dedicated to technologies, and one of them was in one of them the team of Mr. Duyunov was participating, but he didn't represent the technology of combined winding. This time the team represented its a new solution, the plasma complex named Gorыныч. It was a huge, massive exhibition which hosted a lot of participants from the welding area. So this Gorыныч plasma technology allows to cut various solid materials and to weld them. And there are no analogs currently in the market. They exist, but in terms of specifications and the price, they are not on the same level. So it's one of the engineering solutions that was performed by Mr. Duyunov and his team, and which for many years has commercial success, demonstrating that the team can deal not only with innovative solutions, but to make money out of it. So it's also an interesting aspect. So those who haven't heard about Gorыныч, please get more information. So currently the efforts of the team are concentrated on technology, Slavyanka technology. That's why even when we visit these exhibitions, still the potential of this exhibition was used for promotion of the induction motor, because the participants of the exhibition, apart from our team, they all need electric motors and high efficiency electric motors. And during the dialogue, we could always share information about what we do, except for welding technologies, about the combined winding, and we managed to attract more stakeholders, more people who were interested in networking. So it was quite interesting. So we continue to participate also in various international events, and thanks to Mr. Viktor Aristov as well. Currently, he holds a lot of different activities all over the globe, and there are a lot of projects that he is doing. They are based in Asia, and we have a lot of news from South Korea. One of the Southern Korean companies ordered 10,000 electric bikes with induction motors with combined winding. It's a great success because it's the largest order in this history of Slavyanka induction motors with combined winding, when we got an order for equipment that was equipped by the technology of Mr. Duyunov. Currently, Thailand is one of the priority directions. There is a lot of electric transport there, and this is a direction where the combined winding Slavyanka can be applied very efficiently. The motors with combined winding, something that they can be applied only on electric bikes. Some of them know that they can also be used at electric cars, but not a lot of you know that they can be used at motorboats as well. And currently, Mr. Viktor Aristov, as well as Energy Gloria company, are developing a boat. And this boat, so before there was a diesel engine, diesel motor used, and currently this time the motor with combined winding will be installed there. And you remember that Energy is a huge major company that is dealing with solar energy, and this project is dealing with solar engines. So that's why the roof of this boat will be equipped by solar panels, solar batteries, and the potential is to make it run without charging or by charging from the solar energy. Or sometimes when there is a long route to be covered, it can be charged. So this is what exactly the market needs currently. And when people say that please do your Tesla, we need a Tesla, only made by Mr. Duyunov. As you see, the commercial directions are a lot, and they are sometimes unexpected. So the order is not just to make an electric car, but something more exquisite, more interesting. So such projects are also being carried out. It's the upgrading of electric motors on plants is the second plant in Thailand that is planning to remodel their motors and to use Slavyanka technology. Also, Viktor Aristov currently is dealing with the project of tuk-tuk, electric bikes, that is also equipped by combined winding and motors Slavyanka. It happens in Thailand, in India, and in some other countries, which has a very big demand for efficient technology, energy efficient technology, and electric transport that can run and be powered by our motors. So the work continues, and currently we see that the technology is interesting for more and more companies. The number of people who start to know about it, this technology is growing. More people certainly know about us. We use words to describe that our technology is efficient. He moved forward, he made one more step and decided to test the electric motors with combined winding Slavyanka, not in Russia, but in Thailand, in Bangkok, their territory. Their territory. And we need it in order to increase the trust of those enterprises and companies in the territory of Thailand and Asia in general, that combined winding Slavyanka is really efficient, it's a really efficient motor. It's a very important and crucial thing, and it will be tested in Bangkok, not only our motor, but also the controller of Mr. Aristov. So it's the production of SPPV with our motors until 90 and 100. They work together. So it's used now. Being used now. And the interesting thing is that is the report about our motor. It was presented on a very important event, e-tuk-tuk, Contest 2019. It's a large event, and Mr. Viktor Aristov said that specifically on this event, they announced the results and presented the results of the test. So we can officially say that that our results were shown to larger public and to experts who were there in the territory. It means a lot. It's very important. So I can congratulate you on this as well, because Thailand is one of the countries where really we are very interested to develop. And the crucial point is that we have clients there. That's why we will continue to work there, and I think that Mr. Viktor Aristov will provide us more news. So almost during every webinar, I tell you something new about Mr. Aristov, about his new technology, achievements abroad, and it's surprising how Mr. Viktor works so much, and he can simultaneously at the same time take on so many projects, and as people in this team that are able to do that, somebody considers absolutely impossible. SOLARGROUP, news about SOLARGROUP now. So today the main efforts of the company are directed to construction and to preparation to construction. And do you remember that according to the regulations, we have to start the construction no later than the first quarter of 2019, no later, but we don't have to do it according to the schedule that was agreed with the general contractor. And currently, we are continuing to work in this direction. We don't have any specific news here. We continue to do some geological research. The passport of the object and the fence are already installed around the construction site. So once we receive the information for construction, will start working. The general contractor named Block will start the construction itself. So we're not talking only about the innovation center, it's also a project for introduction of solution of combined winding Slavyanka into the global market. So in the framework of this work, we are doing preparation of different motors that will further in the framework of SOLARGROUP company and in the framework of the Innovation Center will be projected for our clients. This year, recently, we started actually the preparation a little bit earlier, so we made a revolution when we managed to project an electric motor that has the characteristics of E3 motor, but it looks like a motor of E1 type. Not even one company in the world managed to do it. That's why we're not revolutionaries here, but we are innovators. And the efficiency of combined winding Slavyanka for one more time is confirmed at a specific example. And our goal is to bring the technology to the point where the motors with the body of E1 can have the specifications of the motor E4. And according to the tests that were made in SOLARGROUP lab, that is certified, tested lab, and its results are acknowledged globally. So these results showed that the technology of combined winding Slavyanka allows to fulfill, to make motors of E4 type. It's a revolutionary step, and previously we could describe it only on paper, but currently we can say that it's a fact. So that's why the team continues to work in this direction. We are testing various motors and see whether all motors are consistent, so there is no discrepancy in the characteristics and specifications and performance, and we make some modifications by experimental method, and we are doing everything to reach the maximum, the major results. So I think that this process will continue, and in future we will not see just the motors of E3 type, but also of E4 type. That in future we will be able to offer to our customers and to produce some motors on the power that we currently have. And once again, currently not even one company in the world can make and produce such kind of motor with such specifications and of such size. And another crucial point is price. The price motors with combined winding. Slavyanka is much lower than the similar engines of other producers. Also, we continue other works, such as we were testing our controller, and the works are finalized. Currently, it was installed on the runner where the motor wheel Duyunov was tested, and we're waiting for proper weather conditions to test the controller that was developed by SOLARGROUP company. It's a very important thing because it's an integral part of projecting and development of motors, because the controller is the brain of an electric motor, and it's impossible to, well, possible, but it will not make any sense to make a motor, but you cannot control it, you cannot run it. So you don't have a controller that allows to efficiently show the maximum specifications and characteristics of the motor that you produced. Currently, the controller, well, we have the controller, it passed all the tests. And currently, we are going to make the on-hand, the practical tests. It will be interesting also. The team of SOLARGROUP is expanding, and we have more and more work. That's why we are preparing new premises for new staff, for new capacities, new facilities. So there will be more videos at our channel that you will manage to see. You will see the new equipment that is being purchased. So this project is interesting because you, in the news on a daily basis, can follow the events that are happening in our company. And also, thanks to such a webinar, you can also be aware of all the news. So I think that we may finish our news block, and if you want, you can begin asking your questions. Please type your questions in the chat, and I will be answering them. Let me remind you that after me, Mr. Alexandrovich Duyunov will be giving talk, and he will also provide answers to your questions and also give you a follow-up on news. So, my dear friends, I'm waiting for your likes.
Так, 173 человека смотрят, лайков 85.
So we have 174 viewers, but only 85 likes. So don't forget that likes that you put allow to increase the amount of viewers of webinar. That's why I'm waiting for you to be more active. I hope that you will be very serious about the likes. So let me remind you that all our webinars are taking place here on this channel.
Так. Смотрю вопросы.
So I'm looking at your questions.
Сергей Шевченко, на вебинаре будет обещанный Павлом синхронный перевод?
Сергей Шевченко, during the webinar, will there be a simultaneous translation of the webinar? Yes, it is. If you want, you can follow the simultaneous translation of this webinar using another link. So what a news about Aristov? So he's taking photos with some Chinese billionaires. Could you elaborate on that if it's not a secret? With Mr. Viktor Aristov, well, I told you a lot about him. He really makes a lot of things. Yes. Mostly in Asia. So his production facility is in China as well, and one of the first big contracts is in Southern Korea. Today I was mentioning Thailand, also there are many interesting projects there, and not only some specific electric motors, but also in the framework as part of the plants when we upgrade motors based on the technology of combined winding on specific enterprises. So this work is going on, and Mr. Aristov is planning to participate in the event in India. Either he's going to be present there, or he's going to be with us there by streaming. So he has a lot of projects in India as well, and equipment for motors will be there as well. We'll be able to show his projects there. Yes, we have a lot of work that is being done, so Mr. Viktorov will be also giving you a follow-up on his activity.
Так. Арестов конкурент проекту, и к проекту не имеет ни
Aristov is the
Владимир, ну, опять-таки, много раз
competitor to the project and has no financial participation in it. We've elaborated on that a lot. What Mr. Viktor Aristov says is the promotion of combined winding Slavyanka. So if you speak about the global scale, he cannot be a competitor because in the world there are billions and tens of billions of induction motors. In several years there will be more than 100 billion ones. So do you think that Mr. Viktor Aristov is able to be a competitor? The market and in general the modern economy works is in the following way. Induction motor market is a growing market. When in this market some two competitors arrive and both of them make money, make profit. It would be a problem if the market of induction motors was not growing and Viktor Aristov would say and take his piece of cake, and we would take a piece of cake. And it would mean that we took this big piece of cake from somebody else. But when the market grew and new players came to the market, all of them took their part. So you have to understand that globally the market is too big to say that in the nearest future Viktor Aristov will become a competitor. It's number one. Number two, Mr. Aristov is dealing with another direction. We are dealing with the engineering of motors. Currently, Mr. Duyunov has a lot of potential customers who are ready to pay money for it. And with Viktor Aristov currently in Thailand is networking and finding some partners and customers, it is beneficial for us because they find out information about our technologies and about our company. And I would understand if Mr. Aristov would steal our clients from SOLARGROUP. But SOLARGROUP anyway will be loaded with work. So if Mr. Aristov produces some tuk-tuks in Thailand, what's bad about it? The opposite, the tuk-tuk producers will address SOLARGROUP later on. Because what Aristov does is better than the competitor, but worse than what SOLARGROUP would do.
Так.
Okay.
Много общения в чате, вопросов не так много.
So there's a lot of active communication in the chat, but not a lot of questions.
Павел, такой формат нам нравится. Молодцы, так держать. Да, мы уже достаточно давно.
Pavel, we like this format. Good for you. Yes, we've been conducting webinars.
Павел, почему нельзя взять уменьшенный пакет тем, кто не может увеличить?
Pavel, why can't we take a reduced package? Why can't a person take a reduced package if he cannot afford a bigger package? So this is how it works. If you understand that you can pay more, you can increase your investment package. But technically, we never thought about the reduced package initially from the beginning.
Дату смены. Вот Сергей Шевченко предлагает, чтобы я объявил примерно
Sergei Shevchenko is offering to announce the
я не помню, я,
date
может быть,
of the
говорил
transition
примерно,
of the
но я могу
phase.
сказать
So
примерную
I don't
дату,
remember,
да.
I might have
Если
said
300
that
лайков соберем, давайте
preliminary
я
date,
примерную дату
if we,
объявлю.
okay, I will give you the preliminary date if we have 300 likes in this chat.
Так, сейчас на английском канале Дмитрия Дуюнова идет трансляция на английском.
So currently on the India's channel, we have a broadcasting in English. How can you make the rebroadcasting of this question on your Facebook page? Yes, really, we have a rebroadcasting of our webinar in English. First, broadcasting is a test broadcasting, so if everything goes fine and we understand that this format is comfortable and okay for us, of course, we will, in this case, we will give you a chance to rebroadcast it on Facebook, and we will find a solution to that.
Скажи, Павел, а как происходит расширение пакета? Если я
Pavel, tell us, please, about the enhancement of the package. If you already made some payments, will I have to make larger payments? Leonid, so here is information about enhancement of the package. Let's say today you're paying a $2,000 package, and you understand that you want to take a bigger package or you want to take an additional package. You want to increase the amount of invested funds. So you can make a transition to $3,000 package and pay installments for this amount. So once you make this transition, you choose the installment that you're going to pay for a $3,000 package. And there you will see the amount, the monthly amount that you will have to pay. So these conditions are the same as if you took a package for $3,000 initially at the beginning. So just press increase the package, see what monthly payment you'll have to make and how many months you will have to pay, and the amount of money that you already paid will be transferred to the account of this new package. If you don't understand anything, if you have any other questions or clarifications, you can address the technical support. So today I increased my package for 1,400,000 shares. Людмила, congratulations. Tell us, how will the conference in India be organized? Investors are paying tickets and they don't know what to do next.
Хороший комментарий. Давайте я сейчас запишу себе, чтобы это.
That's a very good comment.
В любом случае,
let me write it down in order to solve this issue. In any case, those who purchase the tickets, they will get an email notification about the next steps. So they'll get information about where to come, at what time. In general, the address, we have the address in all our announcements, the time of the beginning of the event. If the person paid his participation, he can just come on the date and time in the place where the event will be taking place. But again, on the email, you will get a notification. If there will be some misunderstandings or some difficulties, you can always address your partners in India. We have a national partner, Verdi Kumar. He will give you clarifications, or his assistants, or some other partners who work in his team. In general, India, in terms of partnership, it's a very friendly country. Everybody is giving assistance to each other. Here in Russia, things are going a little bit differently. Investors and partners are more individual, like they don't cooperate too much. There are chats where they communicate, but a lot of people join the project because in general, initially this project was advertised by some partners. That's why they came, and they don't know anybody in the project. In India, people normally invite each other to join the project. That's why you can always ask the person who invited you to the project. In any case, if you have some issues. There's always technical
Будут ли
support
новые
where you get
творческие конкурсы
assistance.
для партнеров? Алексей, кстати, да,
Will there
конкурсы
be
будут,
any
и в сентябре
other
скоро будут
creative
здесь.
contests for partners? Yes, there will be, and shortly there will be one of them.
Когда обновится личный кабинет? Сергей, возможно, только после Нового года
When will
обновится,
the
если
user
успеем до
account
Нового года.
be updated? Most probably
Здравствуйте,
after
Павел.
the new
Сколько
year.
средств
If we
вы
manage to
тратите на
do so,
рекламу?
then before the new year.
Ну, мы
Hello,
на рекламу
Pavel. How
тратим
much money
немного
do you
средств как
spend for
таковых, потому что у
advertisement?
нас есть
We
партнерская
don't spend a
программа, и
lot of
основные
funds
расходы это именно
because we have a
партнерская
partner
программа. И
program, and
все
the
деньги,
main
они и
costs
есть
are of
вливание в
partner
маркетинг, да,
program.
компании как основные.
So these are the marketing funds.
Так можно же разовый платеж сделать, по идее. Планирую вскоре купить за $500.
So
Да,
you can
можно,
make a
конечно,
one-time
да,
payment, just buy a package for 500. Yes, of course you
Добрый
can
вечер.
do a
Когда уже
one-time
будут продавать
purchase.
двигатели? Но в действительности
Hello,
совмещенные
when
обмотки
the
Slavyanka уже
motors
продаются.
will start
Есть
being
несколько пистолет.
sold. So the
Вы можете приобрести
selling
их у
process
официальных
already
дилеров.
started. Probably you missed it. You can
290S,
purchase in
290S,
our official
это двигатели
dealers.
модернизированы на совмещенной
The
обмотке
motors
Slavyanka.
DS100S that are equipped by combined wiring Slavyanka.
Так, все, вроде вопросов больше нет. Ну что, значит, я думаю, можно передать слово Дмитрию
So
Александровичу.
as far as I see there are no more
Напоминаем вам о
questions,
том,
then I
что
can
вы
give the
можете
floor to
направлять
Mr.
свои
Duyunov. Let me remind you
вопросы
that you
в чат.
can send your
Наша трансляция вебинара
questions to
двигателя
the chat.
Дuyунова. Там
So our streaming,
на все вопросы Дмитрий Александрович
in our
также
streaming of
сегодня
the
ответит,
webinar,
поэтому можете сделать это
Mr.
уже
Dmitry
сейчас.
Alexandrovich
И
will
помните,
answer all your
что
questions as well. So you
если
can
сегодня
start
мы наберем
sending
300
your
лайков
questions
под
to the
этой
chat. And please
трансляцией,
remember
да, на
that if
канале вебинара
we
двигателя Дuyунова,
have
я
300
объявлю
likes
информацию,
on
когда у нас
our
будет
this
смена
streaming,
инструмента.
I will
Поэтому,
announce
если
or give you a
интересно,
hint about
хотите
when the
узнать
the
то 300
transition to
лайков,
the
и
next investment phase
это
will
обязательно
happen.
будет.
So if you're interested to find out about the date, then we have to
Двигатели
gather
продаются и не только.
300
Сам видел их
likes.
десятки. Да, Павел действительно прав. Сегодня двигатели
So
совмещенной
the
обмотки
motors
Ну
are
все,
being built. I've
передаю
seen
слово
it
Дмитрию
personally.
Александровичу.
Yes, Pavel is right. So at this point, I'm giving the floor to Mr. Dmitry Alexandrovich.
Добрый день, уважаемые коллеги, партнеры, инвесторы.
Hello, dear colleagues, dear partners, dear investors.
Сегодня у нас интересный вебинар. Получается,
Today we have a very interesting webinar.
начинается он с того, что хотелось бы немножко прояснить ситуацию по
So it begins
Виктору Арестову,
with the fact that I would like to clarify the situation about Viktor Aristov
его адрес,
and for the
потому
attacks
что многое происходит из-за
and how the interaction is being conducted. This
лицензионного обмотчика,
for,
который занимается модернизацией двигателей под сессию как ремонт.
speaking about the licensed
ремонт их
winder who is dealing with modernization of motors and is dealing with overhaul
китайских
on enterprises. So what is Victor doing? He takes Chinese plants, the steel without winding of a standard motor, and installs on the same plant the winding Slavyanka. So it's a modernized upgraded motor, nothing incredible, just a regular path of modernization of motor thanks to combined winding with one exception. He recalculates this winding for low current or low voltage and for other frequencies.
Тут же раздаются возгласы недовольства, мягко говоря, что
And I heard some disappointed opinions that he is taking our part of the market. And there is a question that arises, who is he taking the market away from?
на самом
No.
деле
From us?
он
No.
отнимает часть рынка.
Actually, he is taking part of the market from
Значит, у
DC
двигателей
motors.
стандартных китайского производства, которые делают
It means that the motors of standard Chinese production who are made by standard plants, so
он, в
is he
принципе,
doing something bad to us? No.
отбирает
Basically,
рынок
what he's doing is
у
is taking the market from those who produce standard motors in DC. So who is, he's not an enemy for us. What is bad in the fact that he takes part of the market that furthermore will but taking account all the accomplishments that have already been gained or that are being planned to be implemented. What is bad about it? The fact that we're making a campaign for entering markets, BLDC motors, the fact that we're taking part of the market from these motors, is it a bad thing? So in this case, tell me please, what does promotion of how should our technology and products be promoted in the market? How shall we promote and make this technology and products familiar to people? So most of the people don't know how many protocols we issued, how many results of tests were done. What was the response? It's like, you look at the book, but you don't understand what is written in it. That's why, trust me, we understand what we're doing, we know what we're doing. And if we speak about the existing methods and practices for entering some market, well, we know them pretty well. You can theoretically say what things have to be done and how, but I want to ask those people, have you ever tried actually to do that? Have you ever tried to enter some market? So we tried, we interacted, let's say with Denzel. So you see what's happening. You see how we can build our partner relations when people behave this way. And the situation is not clear, it's not fully clear, and it brings up and creates misunderstandings and some far-fetched things. You have to understand that in markets, not everything is simple and not everything is absolutely clear as we may predict and think. Things are going differently there. It was the competition between normal people and bad people will not bring to victory. Because if you play cards with a bad guy, you can win only if you're a bad guy as well. That's why, unfortunately, or I just can state the fact that currently the team for attraction of investment and the team of SOLARGROUP is losing in internet in terms of to haters who make some bad mouthing about us because they are being confident, they are organized very well, they have very good management of their work, and every time we display some kind of movement and development in our product, there is a so-called wave coming up on us with attacks. And instead of actually considering all the cases, we have a lot of groundless judgments, and instead of bringing arguments and good points, we see the policy of not paying attention, of not noticing. There was some strange message in comments. So, in my opinion, we have to answer such comments. Apart from the comments which are not within the norms of ethics and where bad language is used. Recently, in the beginning of today's webinar, I put a link on a video, a short video of a company or of a channel, one channel. Very interesting channel, and I forgot its name. I'm sorry, I apologize. Kramola. Kramola is the name, and I see likes 7.9 likes and 552 dislikes. And you see the picture is nice, and the comments, and they're saying Duyunov is also here. I was very disappointed about this channel. I understand that unfortunately Duyunov's company is a team of crooks, and I'm disappointed to believe it, and so on and so forth, such kind of comments. So where are the partners? Where are investors whose interests are jeopardized by such comments as well? Those people who have to monitor the content and the information space, so they're wearing a crown on their heads, and they are doing nothing, calculating their achievements. In the projects, you don't have to calculate your achievements, but the misfortunes and failures. So we will count the victory, all the victories later in future. That's why we have to work on our failures. Otherwise, it will be so, you know, there's a puberty period when a guy around chases any girl, and testosterone and the hormones are leading the brain, and the brain is not working. So this is what it looks like. These are the actions that are similar. That's why you have to work systematically, to work and to follow what is happening in the information space, to make analysis of it, to make conclusions, and to take measures. And do not respond to these provocations, because the results and the practice is the main criteria that will speak for themselves. But in such situations, such current situation is a very ugly one, and hoping that the overseas will help us is the policy that is not efficient. We have to work for Russian-speaking internet and in other languages, Chinese, India is fine, but later on don't complain that everything is bad in Russia. Because the largest crime is made by the consent, the silent consent of the majority of people. And due to this fact, I would like to speak about one more situation. We already mentioned Mr. the citizen, or Mr. the PhD, Alexei Vladimirovich. So it's a representative of a company Vintia. There's such an organization. On the energy efficiency event of induction motors who said that combined winding Slavyanka, so his behavior was not decent. that was not applicable to the person who has PhD, and this discussion was a very low level, and his behavior was indecent. And I would like to say that this person wasn't just doubtful about the competence of our team and about the ROS patent of the Russian Federation, but he accused us of being incompetent. And that's why he gave a lot of negative comments to the project. As you remember, I have never made bad comments about engineering solutions of other people. Somebody saying that we have some technical problems with the sound. So the settings are fine. So there is something going on. So what's going on with the sound? So unfortunately, we're having problems with the sound currently.
Загрузку. Это совсем все слетело.
Okay, we're having some technical problems.
Ну, нормально, да? Но вот у меня YouTube.
So now the sound is fine, right? I have some problems with YouTube. So, okay, now everything is fine. So, thank you. Thanks to the technical support. So let's move on. Mr. Zakharov Alexey Vladimirovich made some unflattering comments according to patent. Probably he didn't actually see our patents and compare them with our earlier patents.
Алексею Владимировичу нет разницы между терминами сдвиг вывода в начало фаз и сдвиг результирующих векторов.
The shift of resulting vectors for him is the same thing. And yes, so he was dealing with the research of patents and with the comparison of results of Ross patent and our materials and the patents or principles of the scheme. So I also were familiarizing myself with the patents that he referred to and such declarations that he made and statements. They are based not on facts and not on analysis, thorough analysis, but on emotions. That is why I decided to see the situation clearly. And I found this document. Here it is. I'm showing it to you. So this is an auto report. It's a research work. And we also were looking for his dissertation or his thesis work, and it could not be found. I know the case when academic thesis is being hidden. Mr. Zakharov, I will find your thesis and I will thoroughly study it. I know very well the cases. I know very well the cases when theses are hidden and what are the results that were found and whether the results of your work were introduced in technological processes. For production of electric motors, the basis of energy calculation and projecting of electric machines for the currents of systems. So if I start to cite some parts from your work and some sentences, some of the participants will have a heart attack. Because when you state about mechanical characteristics and torque, I have a question. As for the torque, does it relate to mechanic specifications? That's why I started to continue research of the materials and I found two publications. Electric drive. There is a site, constructor.net. So there's a website with publications of articles and materials for the area that we are interested in and for the area that Alexander Vladimirovich works in. I gave you links in the beginning of the chat. You can have a look at them. So what is the conclusion? Alexei Vladimirovich has been working together with his colleagues over reactive synchronous motors. And who is cooperating with him? Let's say Mr. Mazurov, technical consultant for the Department of Continuous Development of Siemens. So that's interesting. Moreover, there is a series of enterprises that are affiliated with this person. They have direct contacts with the company Siemens. So what happened? Actually, what happened? In reality, I gave you a link and I can send you once again the link to the document. I'll go down to the chat and insert the link here. GOST 6310-2, and there is a table saying what phases the energy efficiency characteristics were used. It's page 2. So here you can see that beginning from 2011, market started to close for energy efficient motors. The company was producing motors, including the company like Mr. Zakharov, started to lose markets. So okay, they took a command that they have to come back to the market and to make their engineering solutions. So as we say, the summer was gone, as we say, so they didn't do anything, they didn't manage, and started to chase others. And when they started to do it, then they saw that these parts of the market were closed by foreign patents. So they started to cooperate with Siemens. That's why these companies started to cooperate with Siemens and started to be the guides of their activities. You can consider it with very, very attentively the links that I shared. So there are things that are ungrounded and ungrounded accusations, and there are things that have documental evidence. And when we were considering what to do, so with Siemens preliminary works for induction motors, they started to make their own production, and they were dealing with testing of their mechanisms for drives. All of these microtron systems were first started in robotic area. So they were dealing with development of new drives for megatron systems. These are synchronous reactive motors, which, thanks to which they wanted to go back to the market and to offer new systems to the market. So it's a very, very good beginning. Why not? As a result of this work, they offered a motor, a synchronous reactive motor of E5 class of efficiency. So in Russia, the class of E5 does not exist yet. So here's a link to the article. And here of more than 1,000 and 3,000 rounds. So I want to remind you that the larger the rounds are, the circles are, the higher the efficiency factor is in the same powers. So the nominal efficiency factor is around 97%. So this is the line number 3. So we reached it, we achieved it. Good for us, good for Mr. Alexei Vladimirovich. You can go to the market and conquer step by step and win over all the competitors. There is a small. So eventually, the combined winding allows to reach the same parameters on a regular electric iron that is mass produced with the same specifications and performance, but for motors of not 3,000 cycles, but 1,500 cycles. But for the engineering solution for development of this Megatron drives, they spent some money. They spent 8 years on average. So in your opinion, do you think that the owners were happy about it? Of course not. Of course, questions arose. So they said that you were telling us that this is a very promising area. When you were telling us that, were you sane or you were insane? What did you show us when those people with their combined whiting Slavyanka will get to the market? What are we going to do? But we need a controller also, controller for reactive motor. Certainly, they started to be overwhelmed. They started to be nervous. So how should Zakharov Alexei react in this situation? Does he have to clap and to run around shouting some happy comments? So if he was here with us to make calculations and measurements and to see that here and here and here you were wrong, why? Why didn't it happen? Probably the point is different. So here are the facts and here are the arguments. In the same work, he writes about one more thing. First of all, let's say that the synchronous reactive motor are familiar to everybody for a long time. He's saying that the prospects for introduction of these motors appeared thanks to the research and analysis that was conducted by some. I can find the quotes in order not to be groundless, so I just want to make a scan from the PDF file to show it to you. Dear Alexey Vladimirovich, don't you think that the opportunity to deal with this motor appeared because the power keys were created with low resistance? That high efficiency processors were developed. Isn't it a reason for why these motors can be introduced and implemented? What are you writing? What are you talking about? That's why I believe that in your thesis, so I read just a couple of pages of your works. So there are a lot of things to read in your thesis, and believe me, we will take a closer look at what you're writing. That's why, dear colleagues, when such persons appear and when they start without any argument, groundless, to badmouth, think. Just think. Why, once we publish about some results, immediately there is some hysteria starting around in the internet and comments from doctors of science and from PhDs who start screaming and shouting. What is this? Is it decent? Is it the behavior of a PhD, of a researcher? Also in the beginning of the link where you can write a message, I also put a link, inserted a link to a video where Yana Teplova and Igor Korkov tell and elaborate on the results. We showed everything, analyzed it. Please watch, read, and use. And this is not just empty words. These are facts. Another fact from the event where Mr. Zakharov Alexey Vladimirovich was giving a talk, he was saying that in the coverage of the motor, they have some additional losses are created. So in his thesis, it is not said It is not called the cover, but it is already called a shell. So his terminology, usage of terminology is inconsistent. What is interesting? When contemplating about the loss of shell, or of the engine support, whatever he calls it, so there are some additional photos there in order to see the measurements. So he's speaking about the influence and this direction for the reduction of losses of motor. So I would like to make one comment. I don't want to say, what are you doing here? I just like to make one remark. On this graph of a magnetic field dissemination, it is visible that the body is blue, in blue color. Blue refers to the zero number of induction. Zero induction. What you had to do is either to change the scale of the induction fields and the figures, the maximum figures. You had to put 1 Tesla to 10 minus 4. Although it is said that in induction in several parts, it arises is 3.10 minus 3. It is 0.03 Tesla, where the normal induction is 1.5. So what are you talking about, mister? You were hoping that those people who watch these illustrations and graphs, they are insane? They are brainless? Choose it. Then it will be clear that the average induction is about not more than 2 by 10 in minus 5. So I'm sorry, but we're talking about, in this case, we're talking about the magnetic field of the Earth. That's why either make your graphs consistent or don't make us go crazy. So here is the answer about your hysteria. It's not that simple about those people who badmouth and give bad comments. I'm not against Eldin's works and other works, but such people, they create they create problems for such companies. There are teams that are respectful and such public persons were dealing with neglection and with your ambitions are just your ambitions. And the problem that you gave wrong counsel recommendations to somebody, it's your problem. But if you are calling yourself a PhD and a doctor, then please become a scientist and not some woman from a market. And when you're saying something, use arguments as well. If you're referring to patents, then refer to the full name and full title of the patent. If you're referring to some scientific works, then also add the exact full name of the publication. For researchers, it's a normal thing. Some science is not done over the night. It's a long process before you get some achievement. You have to work by making some steps, by testing, by making mistakes and correcting them. So these are the people who work this way and who made achievements. Our achievements are we use in our work, we use the results of achievements of our predecessors, and do not consider other people stupid and consider yourself to be the smartest one. And do not project on such large teams such kind of a behavior and attitude. And also one more remark. If you're so smart, if you have such fantastic theses, then tell me please why Russia prefers to purchase IPP, Siemens and motors and other European motors than American ones and not yours. If you have such a great thesis, such an outstanding thesis, then why didn't Siemens purchase your engineering solution? So why don't you live in French Riviera then? So this is my response to you, my little response to you. And please, dear colleagues, don't believe that I'm nervous. When I'm angry, I'm very calm, actually. If I'm being emotional, it doesn't mean that I actually have some emotions. That's why I believe me, trust me. So don't believe just the words of some people. Don't make idols out of other people, and don't believe that if some person has some title, then it means that he is saint. No, me and you were all the same in this case, so nobody has a right to place himself on the top of others, irrespective of the position that you hold and on what title you obtain. It's in the army, the structure is different. It's about obeying. And in scientific field, everything is different. Give result, provide result. And then let's see how many motors were produced using our technology and how many motors were produced based on the technology of the author of this thesis. So this is the way to measure. We created this project, we addressed people with the offer to finance it, and experts of our project that vote not only by raising hand, but by their funds, by their money. And we will be accountable for these people. And you, who are you going to be accountable for in your dissertation, in your thesis? That's the question. I would like to give some clarifications about Pavel. So we received already not 3 but 4 bodies for E1 class. Now we are preparing a new lot of motors, and I hope that next week we'll start the testing. After we finalize all these tests, we will start the certification process of these samples. Also, we are doing some work for accreditation in laboratories. So we're in contact with the accreditation bodies. We had visits from the representatives who were doing a thorough analysis of the documentations, of the paperwork. And this is the work that has to be done before submitting the application, because we are giving assessment not only of the logs, but also we have to make more than 30 tests. In Russia, we didn't find an enterprise where we could ask for such samples of such logs. We haven't found yet not even one Russian enterprise that is dealing with testing of electric machinery that would be actually certified and accredited. But nevertheless, we will have to do it. There is an option for electronic logs. And we are doing very serious works. Apart from the fact that we have to make the logs, we also need to do to prepare a lot of other documents, papers, and we have to train our employees, and we have a lot of things to do. Also, we have to put in compliance the conditions of the lab. So we have a big machine that is being mounted, and we have to put the operators to separate premises. That's why there are a lot of things that are connected with this part of the work as well. So we have a lot of things to do. Also, in parallel, we have some other works with our contractors, with the preparations of the state expertise of paperwork, of architectural and construction aspects. That's why, believe me, the scope of work is massive. So I admire my team, my employees who really took a risk to get involved in this thing, in this project with me. I believe that if they knew what is expecting, then they would think not even twice, but 100 times whether to join me or not. Because responsibility, of course, is an important thing, but also there are so many unknown things. Like first in your mind, you have to vision all this production process and then to put it on paper and to agree it with a big amount of organizations. Sheikh Nazarov was asked how many years we're dealing with the construction of Mosfilm, and he said 10 years. And he said that the majority of this period of time he spent on agreeing with different bodies. So if Sheikh Nazarov went through such a long process, then let alone us. So if you make enough efforts, you will succeed. That's why using this motto, we continue to work. Also, I'm dealing with some search for extra documents that before were never drafted. So we have to draft them. We have to pass through the stage. And then when we transfer the laboratory, move the lab to the main premises, it will be much easier. Because once we do it, the second phase will be the confirmation period. It will be much easier. That's why currently we are going through the phases that, according to the plan, were supposed to be done and performed on the main premises, the main facility. And the next thing, when they say that do the motors, and but nobody will buy them, I would like. I don't want to calm these people down, but I want to explain something. So there are Russian companies that want or don't want to purchase. It's their own business. And we're not going to interfere, and we're not going to impose ourselves. We'll do something easier. So this optimized motors, the characteristics and specifications that you saw, and by the way, for people who are dealing with information support, there are some complaints. Why the protocols for 19th size is not disseminated, is not wanted. I have to do that. I have to make their advertisement, yes, for the resources which I use, I uploaded it. But actually, I can find it now. Just give me a minute. So I will upload the link. And why don't other sources contain this information? I've never seen it at any other sources. So when we're saying that there is some misinformation, the partners cannot fight these attacks. So here is a link. Please open the menu protocols, the section protocols. In the previous page, page 4, there are protocols. And on the 5th page, there is a report. That's why use it. When you have some questions, please use it. So this is truthful information that can be checked. If you have any objections or any doubts in the truthfulness of this information, please address a lab, make the tests by yourselves, or we will do the tests and you can monitor the process. And if we do something wrong, if we wrote something wrong, you can say this is not true, this is untruthful information, then you will have the fact that you can use as a basis to accuse us of giving untruthful information. But if it will not be confirmed, then please apologize to us. Mr. Alexander Vladimirovich Zakharov, I officially invite you to the lab. Please come to our lab, and then just like I visited your lab. So in this case, you can come and objectively have a conversation with me about the thesis as well. We can make a discussion about your thesis as well. I have a lot to tell you about. If you're courageous enough, if you're brave enough. I was brave enough to come and visit you, and I paid you money for tests. And the results, I have the packages with the results, with your results for the same motor, absolutely different results. So your lab did it. So, and then we can discuss who is a liar, who is giving headache to whom. So make a good motor so that Russia is proud of you. So that everybody says, I'm not going to purchase BLDM, I'm going to purchase so much. I don't want ABB, I want give me a Russell Prom. So these are great motors. So I'll be proud of you too if you manage to do it. But so far, I apologize, there were 52% of market and now 0.1 according to business stat. So this is the evaluation. So this information, my dear colleagues, subjective information, grounded information, please use it. Use it by using arguments as well and protect your interests. Because the project is not only our child, let's say, so it's also yours. So we elaborated on these topics as well. This the video, and I will upload one more video where on each thesis that was brought up by Zakharov, I will also provide answer and response with figures and with facts. We will make a discussion objectively. We'll make an objective discussion with facts. We can call these program arguments and facts. So at this point, please let me finish this part and to move on to questions. So part of the questions were deleted.
Добрый самаритянин пишет, да, все, что вы говорили, непонятно, начиная с какой-то доктор наук или...
So you said that everything that you said was not unclear from the moment you were starting to speak about some PhD. So Mr. Zakharov, so he gave his thesis, he supported his thesis that I referred to. I would like to tell you more about the construction works, but the progress in construction works. Currently, construction works are not being done on this construction site because, as we said, that for the beginning of construction, we have to pass the state expertise. So we are in the phase of agreement. But the resume of the state expertise and state expertise evaluation has not been received yet. So a lot of comments about sound. Could you repeat again about the doctors, because we had problems with the sound? Yes, in a nutshell, always trust only facts. The person, when he attacks you, he has to use facts and arguments and not just groundless statements. No, Andrei, he's a doctor. Let's say specialists give talks openly on the internet. I totally agree with you, because he made one talk and it was a failure. Everything is stored on the internet, and you know, Lectra made one thing, he didn't pay for work. It was done, and who did he do a good thing for? In order to restore your authority, you have to work. So it's not a doctor, it's just somebody's, person who is making provocations. It's ridiculous to hear about such PhD and scientists. So I believe that the vectors, the resulting vector, the winding can consist of different sections between the main one and between the combined winding. The difference has to be 30 electrical degrees. So in the patent it says that the beginning of degrees are 90 degrees or 100 degrees. It doesn't interfere with anything, and you can check this information in scientific resources. So the patents that we had before, no connection with this one. So there was a statement also that there is a parallel scheme of triangular scheme, and it's not effective, and it is not efficient. Dear PhDs, have you checked this? You stated it. You made a statement, and I am not guilty here. You said something and it was believed, and then it was said, no, there is no effect. And what's my role here in it? The practice, criteria, and truth. If you stated something, check it. I checked it and I confirmed. And I said that it's true, and you said that it's not. Then you state that 6-phase motors are better than combined ones. So, Lisa Zakharov was saying the same thing. So please make it and present it. If you haven't done it, just say I assume or I believe, but don't make the statement as if it's a real fact. If you haven't done it, then just don't talk. Or make a comparison and say, so here is a link to the forum. So there is a protocol 1, 2, 3, 4, and opinions and the report with assessment and analysis. You can make this test again, this experiment again, and make your own conclusions. But when you make just statements, how can they actually confirm your words? Just statements. I'm a doctor, so I have the title of a PhD, so I don't have to explain anything to anybody. That's the way you think. Maria Zhizha was right. So all these things have to be recorded documentally, on video, on audio, recording, and then the haters from the Russian internet who are attacking the project will have something to discuss. As they say, that the time is not up, so we still have time for that. The competitors do not sleep. It's not that they don't sleep, they are terrified. You see, we are entering their area of interest. Look at the electric transports. The hysteria that started. So the same thing is the same person who were dealing with synchronous reactive motors. As this doctor said that he is absolutely brainless, the main thing that his followers understand who this person is. So what I want is that people make profit, because the main funds and enterprises were set up. They have a long history. So what were they turned into? People, workers who create such machines, are they to blame? They do their work in very high quality, and the result is just the guilt of the managers. It's their fault, and people are not to blame. So could you inform us about the time of the future webinars, not only according to Moscow time, but because there are people from other countries who are viewing it. So how is construction progress? So we are using all our efforts to accelerate it. So the links are in the beginning of the chat. Please scroll up and look for them. So, Alexander, look in the beginning, look at the top. Ah, so the guys blocked it. Okay. Okay, this wasn't the right thing to do. Moderators. So if you block my links, I will block you. Can I? Just give me a second, please.
Сергей Шевченко, да по какой, ну, с самого начала первые сообщения кто-то взял, поудалял.
So, who deleted somebody deleted the first message in the chat. I don't know how it happens. So, who cuts the chat? So I already sent you just now the links. I inserted them in the chat, so please save them, because without links, without these articles, what I said was groundless. Just words.
Вам зайдут и средства, мечта. Нет, понимаете, там конкуренция это связано.
When we talk about competition, competition is always connected with business and with money. And Dr. actually referred the textbook of Petrov correctly. Anatoly, it's not that. It is the 12th area of winding. There are many windings, various windings, but the principle of creation of this winding is in the patent, and the basic schemes are in other patents. They're patented in other patents. All these schemes, all these basic main schemes that were developed previously, they were published in a book about the combined winding that we published. And in order not to be groundless, you just needed to take Petrov's book and compare the text and see what is written there and what is written in our book, and make a conclusion afterwards. He said that everything is written there, but Mr. Alexey Vladimirovich, have you read the book? Or at the forum? Did you go to some forum and read the main principles, the main provisions? Did you? No, you haven't. You didn't read it, so what are we talking about then? I'll repeat my question about non-fuel generators. Have you given a thought about it? Vyacheslav, on one of the webinars I told you about the general radiography for X-ray rooms, portable X-ray rooms. And Navalny also talked a lot about this technology. It's somewhat different from. It's somewhat different from the general understanding, because from what I've seen, generators, I haven't seen such generator that would give positive effect and could be a self-charged. I haven't seen such generator before. Sergey Sablyuk, the chat is cut and the links are lost. Sergey, I've just published them. I've just inserted them into the chat again. So when will you start the big stand? Actually, it was already connected to the cooling system, and the moving sides were also ready. So we are waiting for Motrol. Sorry. For a measure. We're waiting for a measure. So I'm from Vladimir, but Zakharov is not my compatriot. But well, speaking about Zakharov's, Alla Viktorovna and Sergey, they are fantastic specialists, experts, people With their own hands, they made tens and hundreds of motors for Slavyanka. And they could say a lot about their practice, about their expertise, and speaking about the promotion of innovative technologies and solutions, they did many more things in comparison to Mr. Zakharov. I believe that soon the owner will ask the question, guys, we invested so much money, we gave you so much money to use. Where is the result? For 8 years, you've been dealing with synchronous reactive motors. What's the problem? Where's the result? Or you were just doing something at somebody else's expense. Except for the case with Mr. Zakharov is I'm not going to discuss it because it's out of the framework of discussion. Competence. I agree with you about competitiveness, and I'm saying that I'm telling you about ethics and about the ethics between researchers and scientists. I'm an engineer, I'm not a PhD, and a PhD doctor, such interpretations of Russian patent, American patents, it doesn't do good to a person who makes such statements. Similar situation happened with Limansky when he asked a question and he said that he is not going to provide any explanation to you. Grigory Limansky was doing something, he was doing tests. So his machine was tested. And I did everything I could to make to get a result out of him, so we could work more on his works. But anyway, Limansky achieved some result. It doesn't matter whether it was right or wrong, but he has never acted the way that person acts. I had a lot of cases when there were developers of different electric machinery and machines and asked questions like, can you do such one? Can we did one, we made one, and can we test it in your lab? Then they just disappeared. So when you state something, when you make some statement, and you have a real test, it's a different level of responsibility. That's why I support the idea of helping other developers, because not always from the first attempt you manage to achieve a result, but when you attack just like that somebody, there is a big chance that you can just destroy some very promising direction. So we do not have to play with the fates of other people. That's why each developer must have a chance to test his achievement. We have to help each other. Even if the result is negative, it's not a big deal. Maybe it's a good way just to cut some non-efficient directions and to focus on other directions that can bring results. And additional, not every person can become a developer. That's why every person who started to do engineering solutions is a worthy person, because he has spent a part of his life doing that. he took away something from his family, the time that he didn't spend with his family, so he made some sacrifice. So for a month, there is no newsletter, and today I cannot see any link. It's not a good thing. Valeria, I understood you. I understand your complaints. They're reasonable. You know, the opponents for some time were silent. They were keeping silence. So we discussed it with my staff, and I told them, wait, once we show results, the previous results that we gave were called, we got some bad comments about every result. After that, we started to run a certified lab and made other tests and got other certifications. And once another phase of results started, we started to get another phase of results, then the silence stopped as well. The silence broke. So I was sending comments just to colleagues and say, please compare them to what I was just telling you now. Fact that hundreds of hundreds of practitioners support the idea of combined widening speaks louder than the words of so-called experts who are making just theoretical statements. So our people's power is in unity, in being together, and when people unite, they achieve great results and make great achievements, and they reach very big goals. When they say take some big investor, address some big investor, but I can say yes, but in this case, I'll have just one person with a big wallet, and but in this situation, we have thousands of people who invest in the environment. And imagine that the situation when the first lots will go to the market will be sold. Imagine the feeling of the victory, of achievement, and the happiness that such a large amount of people will experience. So it will impact everybody else. This is the effect of joining people, of uniting with people. It's a very important thing, and it is very worthwhile. In your opinion, all this expertise is sabotage? No, it's just in professionalism. So there is certain dynamics. For example, when Margarita Simonyan complained to Putin about she couldn't help to the woman who lived through a blockade to get the Russian citizenship. She was elderly, and once she said everything was given, after that she received it very fast. And remember how many people were unable now to get citizenship. So once they issued a decree number 188, everything started to work very fast. So they got an order, and then another order followed. We will do that. We'll do everything. So I think that the moderators will take care of the links so that everybody can save them and see them. So advice to Zakharov to purchase share in the company. So we'll let him just live fine, let all his solutions be implemented, let him enjoy life. I'm wishing him just the best, nothing else. Let him implement his ideas and let him produce something that our country will be proud of. Yes, and then everything will be in its place. Because what we discussed is it's about what's happening on the internet. I just wanted to show you that you cannot believe everything you hear. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust all the information that you get, all the target information. You have to look what are the arguments, what are confirmations, what is the confirmation of the information that you see. So this is just a fight, a battle. And one person uses some undecent methods, bad methods, some ugly methods. And they can be just aggressive and use ugly methods. And unfortunately, it is applied quite often. Well, let's talk about Bolotov theory. He was imprisoned. Yes, he was imprisoned because he proved that the plants synthesize chemical elements, and also he showed that gold can be created out of lead. So all the materials of Bolotov, well, I was absorbing all the information about him that I came across. In Gorlovka and Donbass, Bolotov said that the prisoners were behaving better with him and treating him better than his competitors and opponents. So, I knew a lot of academics, and one of them was academic Sagan. It's a real academic. So the preliminary date of the issue of 100, I cannot really tell you now. I'm not gonna lie to you. So unfortunately, we cannot see the links. And please, when will the next international conference be held in Moscow? Oh, guys, we have to discuss it with the organizers, because I'm not taking care of arrangement of such events. So the links, a lot of people said that everything is useless, all the words that I said. So dear colleagues, thank you for your attention. Today I spent a lot of time during this webinar taking care of your questions and the issues that I wanted to cover before. Next Tuesday there will be no more webinars. So goodbye to all of you. Thank you very much and see you again.
Так, друзья.
Okay, friends.
Поставьте плюсики, если меня.
Please put a plus if you see me and if you hear me. We thank Dmitry Alexandrovich a lot for his talk. There were a lot of questions. An interesting webinar. I was listening very carefully to it for 1 hour and a half. Just the time just flew so fast. the sound is fine, the video is fine too. I believe that we can finalize here. So basically, we covered everything that we planned. The news were talked about, answers to questions were given. So I believe that we can wrap up. We also mentioned that if we have 300 likes, we'll inform you about the date of transition of the phase. Unfortunately, I see that we don't have 300 likes, but well, as you wish. Next time, if we manage to get 300 likes, you'll get the information about the dates. The transition will happen shortly. It will be a very short period, and don't forget that the 11th phase is your last chance to increase your investment package. So now I'm going to say goodbye to you and thank you for participating in this webinar. Our next webinar will take place on Tuesday. We will talk about the basics of the project, about the end motors that were developed on the base of combined winding Slavyanka is for newcomers, and also we will have webinar of March. And if you want to see the speech of the employees of the company, so this webinar will cover technical aspects, and the links would also be inserted. So thank you. I'm saying goodbye to you and see you soon again.